Let me paint you a picture. You spend $40 on a fruit tree, you dig the hole, you plant it in the best spot in your yard, you water it every week, you protect it through the winter, and then you wait, and wait, and wait some more. 3 years later, you've got a pretty tree and zero fruit. Meanwhile, your neighbor just dropped a basket of fresh cherries, berries, and figs on your doorstep. From 5 small bushes she planted less than 2 years ago. Bushes so compact most people walk right past them and don't even realize they're food. That's not luck. That's just knowing which plants to grow. And today I'm going to show you 5 bushes that can do exactly that for you. Whether you've got a small suburban backyard, you're building a homestead, or you just want to grow real food without waiting forever. And I saved the best one for last. The 5th bush on this list can survive being completely frozen to the ground every single winter, come back in spring, and still give you more fruit than most full-size trees produce all year. Let's get into it. Real quick, if you're into growing your own food, becoming more self-sufficient, or just making your yard actually useful, hit subscribe. I put out practical growing content like this all the time, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Bush 1, Honeyberry. Okay, bush number 1. And I'm starting here because this plant does something no other berry bush on the planet can do. It gives you fruit first, before your strawberries, before your blueberries, before anything else in your garden has even woken up from winter. The honeyberry is already ripening fruit. We're talking 2 to 3 full weeks before your first strawberry is ready. If you've ever spent May just staring at your bare garden, wishing something was ready to pick, this plant is the answer. But the real story with honeyberries is how cold they can handle. These bushes survive down to -40 degrees. The open flowers themselves can take frost down to 14 degrees without dropping the crop. There is basically no winter cold enough to stop this plant. If you're in zones 2 through 7 and someone's ever told you your climate is too harsh for fruit, honeyberry just proved them wrong. A mature bush produces 5 to 15 pounds of fruit per season. It starts producing in year 2 or 3, and one plant can stay productive for 30 years. The berries are dark blue, elongated, and taste like blueberry crossed with grape with a little raspberry thrown in. Great fresh, frozen, or in jam. One thing you need to know, honeyberries need a second plant to produce well. One bush alone gives you almost nothing. You need 2 compatible varieties that bloom at the same time. Boreal Beauty and Boreal Beast are a great pair. Aurora and Honeybee work well together too. Get the pairing right, and these small bushes will shock you with how much they produce. Bush 2, Goumi Berry. Bush number 2, and this one is going to sound almost too good to be true, but stick with me because it's real. The Goumi berry, most of you have never heard of this plant, and that's a problem because once you understand what it actually does, you'll wonder why every food garden doesn't have one. The Goumi is a small deciduous shrub, 5 to 8 feet tall, hardy in zones 4 through 9. It starts producing fruit in its 2nd or 3rd year, and a mature plant gives you 10 to 15 pounds of small, bright red berries per season. The berries taste like tart cherries when ripe, sweet and tangy with a flavor that's actually really addictive. Great fresh, great dried, great in jams. They're loaded with vitamins A, C, and E. But here's the thing that makes the Goumi genuinely special. It fixes nitrogen. Just like a legume, the roots form a relationship with soil bacteria that pull nitrogen directly out of the air and convert it into natural fertilizer, right there in the ground. Which means the Goumi isn't just feeding you, it's feeding every plant growing near it. Research has shown that growing Goumi near other fruit-producing plants can actually increase those plants' yields. So while your Goumi is producing pounds of antioxidant-rich berries, it's also quietly making your whole garden more productive. It's the only fruit bush I know of that does double duty like that, produces food, and improves the soil for everything around it. It also handles poor soil, drought, and even air pollution without flinching. Truly one of the most low-maintenance, high-reward plants you can put in the ground. Bush 3. Nanking Cherry. Bush number 3. And if you want one plant that makes your yard look stunning and buries you in fruit, this is the one. The Nanking cherry was brought to the United States back in the 1880s and was one of the most popular plants in American gardens for decades. Then commercial farming shifted toward varieties with longer shelf life, and the Nanking cherry got left behind. That's a shame, because for the home grower, this bush is exceptional. In early spring, before the leaves are even out, it explodes with dense clusters of white and pink flowers. It looks like something out of a Japanese garden. It's genuinely one of the most beautiful flowering shrubs you can plant. And then all those flowers turn into cherries. Small, bright red, sweet tart cherries that ripen in June and July. The yields are impressive. Utah State University research puts production at 15 to 50 pounds per plant. These bushes start producing in just 2 to 3 years and can live for up to 50 years. That's half a century of free cherries from one planting. The fruit is smaller than store cherries, but the flavor is fantastic for pies, jams, syrups, and wine. The bushes grow 6 to 10 feet tall. They're hardy from zones 2 through 7, and they handle extreme cold, summer heat, drought, and basically any soil type you throw at them. Like the honeyberry, Nanking cherries need cross-pollination, so plant at least 2 and space them 6 to 10 feet apart. Do that, and you've got a gorgeous edible hedge that looks like ornamental landscaping and produces buckets of cherries every single summer. Bush 4. Hazelnut. Bush number 4. And this one is different from everything else on this list because it doesn't give you fruit, it gives you fat and protein. If you're serious about growing your own food, you can't just think about berries and fruit. You need calorie-dense food, shelf-stable food, the kind that feeds you through winter without needing a freezer or a canning setup. And in the entire world of backyard food production, nothing fills that gap better than hazelnuts. Hazelnuts are 18% protein and 60% healthy fat. They're packed with vitamin E, magnesium, calcium, and B vitamins. And when you dry them in the shell, they store for months at room temperature. No canning, no freezing. Just put them in a cool, dark spot and they're good. In bush form, hazelnuts stay compact, usually 6 to 12 feet tall. Modern hybrid varieties bred for the eastern United States combine the large, flavorful nuts of European hazelnuts with the cold hardiness and disease resistance of American hazelnuts. Research from the University of Minnesota shows hybrids averaging around 7 pounds per bush, with mature plants capable of hitting 20 pounds. They start bearing in 3 to 5 years. 4 or 5 hazelnut bushes along a fence line, maintained as a low hedge, could produce 40 to 100 pounds of high-protein, high-fat food every single year for decades. They do need cross-pollination, so plant at least 2 different varieties. Look for disease-resistant hybrids like Jefferson or Yamhill. They're wind-pollinated, so pollen travels easily between nearby plants. In a real food security garden, hazelnuts are the piece most people are missing. Fruit feeds you in summer. Hazelnuts feed you all year long. Bush 5. Chicago Hardy Fig. And now the one I promised you at the beginning, the one that might actually change the way you think about what's possible in a cold climate garden. The Chicago Hardy Fig. Most people think figs are a warm weather plant, Mediterranean, California, the deep south. Not something you can grow if you deal with real winters. That's completely wrong, and this variety proves it. The Chicago Hardy was discovered growing in a Chicago backyard in the 1970s, surviving real Midwest winters. The roots of this plant are hardy down to -20 degrees. The above-ground stems handle about 10 degrees. And even if the whole plant freezes completely to the ground, even if you lose every single stem, it grows back from the roots in spring. Let me say that again. It can die to the ground, come back from its roots, and still produce a full harvest of ripe figs that same season. because it fruits on new wood. In zones 6 through 10, it grows as a full multi-trunk shrub or small tree reaching 10 to 15 feet. In Zone 5 and even parts of Zone 4 with a little protection, it works as a dieback shrub that renews itself every year. And the production is wild. Some nurseries list yields at 30 to 50 pounds per plant. Growers in favorable climates report up to 100 pints of figs in a single season. The fruit has purplish-brown skin, sweet strawberry-pink flesh inside, and it's perfect for eating fresh, drying, making preserves, or putting on a charcuterie board. Figs are high-calorie and nutrient-dense. One fig has about 47 calories. Compare that to most berries at maybe 5 to 10 calories each. If you're thinking about actual food production and real caloric output per square foot, figs are in a different league entirely. Chicago hardy is self-pollinating. You only need one plant. It has almost no serious pest or disease problems. Deer generally leave it alone. It's drought-tolerant once established, and it starts fruiting within 1 to 2 years of planting. Plant it, mulch the base, and even if it dies back every winter, it will come back every spring, every single time. Okay, let's take a step back and look at what you actually have when you plant all 5 of these together. Honeyberries ripen first, late spring, weeks before anything else. Goumi berries and Nanking cherries come in through June and July. Chicago hardy figs ripen late summer and carry into fall. Hazelnuts drop in September and October and keep feeding you all winter. That's food from late spring straight through to the first hard freeze. Plus shelf-stable protein and fat sitting in your pantry all year. From 5 bushes that together take up less space than one standard fruit tree. That's not just a garden, that's a real food system. Bonus tips. Before I let you go, 3 quick things that'll make all 5 of these perform even better. First, mulch everything. A thick layer of wood chips or compost around the base of each bush will cut your watering in half, eliminate most weeding, and build your soil every single year. The Goumi is already fixing nitrogen for the whole group. Add mulch and you've got a system that improves itself automatically. Second, plant for succession. Within each species, look for early and late varieties. With honeyberries especially, pairing an early variety with a late one extends your harvest window by several weeks. Do this across all 5 bushes and you stretch a 6-week season into a 5-month one. Third, preserve what you can't eat fresh. Freeze your berries and cherries. Dry your figs. Cure your hazelnuts. Make rose-hip-style syrups from your Goumi harvest. A well-managed planting like this doesn't just feed you in summer, it feeds you all 12 months if you preserve with a plan. All right, here's what I want you to do right now. Pick 2 or 3 of these 5 bushes, just the ones that make the most sense for your climate zone, your space, and what your family will actually eat. Order them this week. You don't need a lot of land. You don't need a full homestead. You need maybe 50 to 100 square feet and 2 or 3 good plants. And within 2 years, that space will be producing more food than a fruit tree gives you in its first decade. Drop a comment below and tell me which ones you're starting with. If you're already growing any of these, share your results. I read every comment and the community learns from real experience. If this helped you, hit the like button, share it with someone who's been staring at a fruitless apple tree, and make sure you're subscribed. There's a lot more content like this coming, and I don't want you to miss it. See you in the next one.